When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call it damn leads. Call it damn leads.
Hey, welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drew B. Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing those stories to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community, because let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life in sales. Today's guest, definitely no stranger to the journey. I'd like to welcome Vance Morris to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Drewby. Hopefully we'll drop a couple of nuggets for you.
Oh, I have no doubt based on what I've seen from your profile, man. So I want to jump right in. I want to hear your craziest sales story.
Craziest sales story was actually I owned some home service businesses here in Maryland and was trying to get in with a auto dealership. They got like 8 dealerships in our area and couldn't get a meeting with the general manager. I mean, I tried and he was always busy, didn't respond to calls, yada, yada. So I said, I got to get this guy's attention. So I mailed him a steering wheel, just no box, just put a stamp on it, little sales letter, mailed him a steering wheel. Nothing, didn't hear from him. So 2 weeks later, I sent him a turn signal. Same thing, no box, the post office will mail anything. Postage on it, little sales letter on it, nothing for 2 weeks. Finally said, all right, I got to bring out the big guns. So I sent him the butt end of a muffler, the fat part, not the long pipe part. Again, postage, sales letter on it. About a day or two later, I get a phone call. He goes, look, if I give you a meeting, will you stop sending me car parts? And I was like, yep, perfect. Just this past year, ending 2025, we just crossed the $800,000 sales mark with just that one client. And that's been incredible. About 12 years.
I love stories like that. And it's kind of old school, right? You think, what was it? Chet Holmes, I think, wrote the book about that. And that was the strategy he used. And it's so cool when you hear people that go old school and use that outside the box methodology because A, it works, takes a little creativity, but B, there's so many people that are just trying to do the same old copy and paste processes that they've learned from some guy somewhere along the way. And as a sales professional, I'm a true believer that you have to differentiate yourself. So I already love this story, Vance, but I want to go another layer deeper, right? So if you're using these strategies, like where else can you start thinking outside the box like that from a sales perspective? Let's just crack this egg open.
Oh, sure. I mean, let's look at, client acquisition from maybe a neighborhood. So I've got a HVAC company that wasn't completely similar, but we mailed ice packs, things you put in your cooler with a sales letter to a very defined, affluent community. I mean, we only sent like 300. And we had over a 50% response on the cold mailing. Now, cold mailing response, I mean, you're lucky at what, 0.5%, 1%? Yeah. We had over 50% respond. And a lot of them were just, oh my God, that's so freaking cool. Thank you so much for the ice pack. But out of the 300 plus, they converted like 45 to 50 people into clients. So, I mean, that's just a massive ROI. I mean, it was not a cheap mailing, don't get me wrong. And we took a risk. But I mean, the ROI on it was, was something stupid, like in the thousands of percent based on what we sold. And then lifetime value of the client added on top of it. I mean, people are still talking about it.
I love this for a couple of reasons, and I want to break them apart because I think this is going to be a fun tactical episode just in the sense of, I can already tell we're getting real weird with it. So I like this. First and foremost, you sent it to a very targeted list. Yes. 600 people. I want to touch on that for a second because I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of in the, to use my first person shooter terminology, the spray and pray method, where they're just throwing out as much stuff as they can, hoping that they catch something. Yeah. I want to go into that, like the niching down and the hyper targeting. Like, how did you guys figure that out? Is that something that you learned along the way? Kind of give me some insight on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a big fan of Dan Kennedy, direct response marketer. He and I have known each other, a dozen or so years, and obviously the term riches and niches, because that's where they are. Because you've got to be able to speak to your target audience, and if you sound generic, it doesn't sound like you're talking to them or even talking, because you want your marketing to sound like you're talking one-on-one to somebody, like, oh my God, this guy gets me. Yes, I'm listening. Yes, I'm reading because this guy gets me. And so everybody is not your customer. And I think that, unless you sell potato chips or something really benign, everybody is not your customer. And you have to understand who you are for. And in my 20 years of owning the home service businesses, we have always targeted an affluent market. Our marketing screams affluence, our imaging screams affluence, our pricing screams affluence. I mean, think about Disney, right? I mean, cost you $180, $190 for the day to get in. So that's, you're getting a certain experience, and compare it to your local county fair that, might be $20 for all you can ride. And you got a couple of ex-cons that are running the rides and everything. Your pricing really just helps to dictate that niche. And we I get people, hey, would you like to bid on our apartment complex and clean it? No, we don't clean rentals. We know exactly not only who we're for, but who we're not for.
Ooh, and that's, man, so good. I really believe that there's too many people that are afraid to say no. And they'll want to take on anybody with a credit card and a pulse that will pay them money, because sometimes when you're getting started, it can be a necessity.
Yep.
And also, you have to learn from those experiences. You have to recognize when you've finished the job and you've looked at the numbers and you've lost money and you're mad at yourself, like, I don't ever want to be in this position again. And take note of that, because there are many of you right now who have nightmare clients that are probably your lowest paying clients that take up 99% of your time, which is preventing you from being able to bring a true quality experience, which is where I want to go with this, Vance, because I know that's kind of the world you come from, is true high-end experience that creates the, not just like the appeal of greatness, but the actual feeling and the emotion that carries on. So like, give me some details on that, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things you want to do, and a lot of business owners shy away from this, is create an emotional connection. You had the key word there, emotions. Because if you can create an emotional connection, and I'm not saying go out on dates with them and that kind of stuff. I'm talking, is there a connection? Because, and like I started my cleaning business same time as another guy a couple of towns over, and he decided he was going to go big and generic and make himself sound like he was some big corporation. So when you called him up, his voicemail, one, he never answered the phone live, which stupid. Two, he set up his voicemail tree. It was push 1 for residential, 2 for commercial, 3 for janitorial, 4 for, and he had like 5 or 6 options. He's one guy, one truck, one phone. You say one, nobody's going to call you because you're not for anybody. And 2, people want to do business with local people that they know, or at least think they know, that are in their same town. So you don't want to sound that way. You want to sound as homey, as in the town as you possibly can. Use your personality. I had a insurance agent client. He was an Allstate guy, and he had like 6 or 7 other Allstates in his town. Not to mention the other 50 or 60 insurance agents.
And his one block too, right? There's like 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all in the same building, and so, he needed a way to stand out. And I visited his office, and we're doing a brainstorming session. I'm looking around, and he's like the rock and roll insurance dude. He's got like gold records on the wall, autographed guitars. I mean, The Who, Led Zeppelin, you name it. And actually his receptionist was the one that came up with the way to answer the phone, because they would get, how much does it cost for auto insurance? I got a Plymouth, or, stupid questions like that. And so they wanted to screen out all of the looky-loos and people that would just make bad clients. So if you ever call a company, you'll hear something like, "Thank you for calling Dave's Insurance. How can I help you?" I mean, every company in America seems to answer the phone that way. But we wanted him to separate. So we got them answering the phone like Wolfman Jack on the radio. "Thank you for calling Dave's Allstate, the agency that rocks." Now, you say it the first 12 times, it sounds a little corny or dorky. I get it. But after that, you get used to it. And it was actually an employee that came up with the way to do it, to answer the phone. So she was ready and able to go. But just by answering the phone that way, they sift, sort, and screen out anybody who would make a bad client. And so you can do it without saying no. You just have to position your marketing and your sales pieces in a way that you're just attracting the people that you want.
I love this, and I'm going to share something personal because I never heard it put down this way, but I actually like the way you explained it, because a lot of times for me, when I'm having conversations with people and they ask, "Hey, how are you?" I tell them, "I'm crushing the day."
Oh,
that's one of my taglines that I've trademarked it. So like it's one of the taglines, but I always say I'm crushing the day, and people always kind of look at me a little funny, kind of like you did, like, "Huh, that's different." Usually it's, "Hey, I'm good. I'm living the dream," right? There's some standard cliches. But just coming at it from a different perspective quickly tells me who I'm talking to, because if they immediately return back with, "Oh, well, man, I wish I was crushing it," I know they're in a negative mind state. So I have to work to bring them to a positive mind state before I can make any sort of offers or do any sort of anything. I've got to work through that with them. And so I like how you approach that, because it's just very quickly qualifying or disqualifying the conversation and knowing where to go with it from there. Because again, you don't need to do business with everybody. And as someone who spent 5.5 years as a producer at an Allstate agency, you're 100% have to separate yourself, because there's a dozen of you goofballs all in the same town fighting over the same leads that they're selling to you guys for $20 to $50 a piece and just getting rich. Anyways, we'll get off of that track for a second, because I could do that forever. But I love the approach to authenticity, personal branding. I think that's a big piece too, because so many folks are out there missing the idea and opportunity to build on a personal brand alongside your bigger brand, right? You wear the flag. You're rocking the logo of the team that you're on. And also, people loved Kobe, not just the Lakers. So I think I want to go down that pathway a little bit. Like, how do you help your clients understand the personal branding being such an important part, especially with social media and all the things that exist these days?
Yeah. And I'll go back to the emotional connection piece and, and how I create it. And one of the things I do strategy wise is I shamelessly use my children in my marketing. Well, at least I used to. They're all older now. My daughter's 18 and she's not as cute as she was when she was 5. But she would have her ballet recital every year. And when she was 5, I took a picture of her in her little tutu, and I put the picture in my newsletter. So I have a print newsletter that goes out to all of my clients. And I did that for a number of years. I didn't think anything of it, but, it takes up space in the newsletter. I didn't have to write something. There was a picture there. And my daughter and I were in the grocery store one day, and this lady comes running up to us and she goes, "Oh my God, Emma, how was your recital?" And I mean, she and I looked at each other. We're like ready to go hide in the frozen food section, because who's this nutty lady? And then I had to think, wait, she's got to be one of my customers. She has watched my children grow up. She's never leaving me. She's going to either have to move or die before she ever leaves me. And I think the story behind that is that we're not only doing the sale at the beginning of when, with a new prospect, we continually have to resell ourselves to our existing customers because, well, one, you already got them. Cost of customer acquisition is outrageous. Cost to keep a customer is almost nothing compared to that. And they already know, like, and trust you. So they're going to buy, they're going to refer, they're going to cross-sell, upsell. And if you can create that emotional connection, maybe you don't have kids. Okay, fine. Talk about knitting or fishing or whatever. But you got to maintain after that first initial sale. If you're a business where you sell things additionally, or you have a service that people will need again in the future, you got to resell them consistently after that.
Yeah, I love the long-term relationship type based sales. Like, and there's definitely a difference, right? But and we won't go too far down this path, but there's the transactional side of sales, and then there's the relationship side. And in some situations it is a transactional, like, hey, you're here for you, I'm here for me. As long as we can agree to come away from this both happy, then that's all that matters.
Right.
But for the most part, the service industry and a lot of what all of my listeners and your audience probably specifically is, it's lifetime value. How do we get them to stay with us forever, and letting them be a part of your journey and seeing what some of their money is going to, I think does create a great layer of relationship. Because, and there's a fine line. You can go too crazy, and if you start showing up in Rolexes and Ferraris, and everybody's going, well, dang, how much money are you making off of me, Vance? Like, wait a second here.
Well, most of those guys rent those Ferraris for the pictures they're in. They don't actually own the damn thing. So,
hey, now, we don't need to go picking on the internet marketing crowd, but you're right. That's so true. I come from it, so I know it. I've seen it. I've been there. I'm with you. And I think that's the thing too, that especially in 2026, now that we're recording this, people are craving real, authentic, true, actual things that get the job done. Not just like the woo-woo and the fluff, but they want, like, hey man, I want to really implement and execute, because that is what gets the results. And I'm so interested to know, you've been in the game a long time. You've done corporate, you've had your own business. Like, when it comes time to execution, what are some of the key things you think most people are missing?
They don't do a damn thing. They got a list of 1,000 things they want to do, and they don't do one of them. One, I think they're overwhelmed. They look at the list and they're like, oh crap, where do I start? And I mean, this is one of the things I teach when I'm doing presentations or conferences is, when you're taking notes, take one third of your page should be action items, and then 2/3 of your page should be your notes. And at the end of the day, you should have like maybe 2 or 3 action items, because otherwise you're not going to get anything done. People they don't pull the trigger. That is really, it's just, I don't know why. I'm not a psychiatrist, but they just don't do it. And I'm like, I mean, I've had people in my coaching group for 5 years who are still asking me the same darn questions they did 5 years ago, and they haven't implemented anything. I'm like, well, did you do what I told you to do? Did you go to the gun club because gun owners, are your target market? Have you been to your local gun club? No. Well, get your ass over there and, start talking.
Listen, Vince, that's why Call the Damn Leads exists. When I used to be at Allstate, I realized, like, hey, I'm a sales guy. If I want to make more money, the thing I need to do is generate more leads, because they're only providing me so many. And if I want more, I got to go get them. So I learned marketing. And crazy enough, it worked. And a bunch of other agents called me and are like, hey, man, what are you doing? And is it legal? Because people always question when you start having some success. They want to know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm running these funnels, and I've got landing pages and woo-foo forms and, all these things. And I'm going old school with you guys on the internet marketing crowd. This is how I know all those Lambos and Ferraris are rented. But they're like, hey, man, I don't want to learn how to do that, but I'll pay you to set it up. That sounds great, right? Start a marketing company. Why not? That's a great idea. Make $10,000 in a weekend. Love it. Until I start putting leads in their CRM. And as you said, Vance, they don't do shit. And I'm like, guys, you're calling and complaining because you're paying me, $1,500, $2,500 a month to set this up, but you're not making any money. And then like, how many times did you call them? I called once, twice, they didn't answer. And I'm like, hold on a second. So what you're really asking me to do is let you be an order taker and bring you people with their credit card out that want to just give you their money without ever talking to you. And they're like, like, that doesn't exist. Get the hell out of here. Call the damn leads. I don't know how to help you people. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So, one of the things, I want to go back to the one word that you said a few minutes ago, and that's being authentic and authenticity. And I think in the world of AI, Nano Banana, whatever, all the other ones, Notebook, LM, all that stuff, I'm sure they have a place, but authenticity now is the new currency. I mean, when I shoot a video, it's right here in my office or maybe in my backyard, and there's no AI. And in these days, you've got to be authentic, not only in video form or audio form, whatever, but you got to be authentic to who you are. And you can't pretend you're somebody else, because people will see through it in a heartbeat. And then, if you're talking about one thing and you're delivering something else, now you got a congruency problem. Authenticity is, for the next foreseeable future, authenticity is the new currency.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it is a big part of what I work with a lot of clients on and talk about. And I'm always interested in some of the higher level players' perspective on this, because I think AI is a fantastic tool. And also, like every tool, you have to know how to utilize it in the right form. Otherwise, it becomes just as dangerous as it is helpful.
Yep.
And for a lot of you out there, and I'm going to just call myself out because I use AI to write copy and all this too. Like, I'm not going to say I don't. But do yourself a favor and go back and read some of those old school, like Dan Kennedy and Dave Ogilvy. Like, read the old school copywriting stuff, because the better you can communicate with your AI tools and with your team who's using these tools, the better your content is going to come out. And I think that's the missing piece, right? The old school copywriters, they could create emotion with their words, and that's what got attention. And right now, there's a lot of robotic stuff out there because people don't know how to use those right words and emotions.
And one of the ways that I do that and find the right words, or even what to write about, is I've got a very eclectic news feed. I got crap in my news feed that nobody else has. And there was a quote. This is a couple of years ago, and it was actually my number one opened and clicked email I ever sent. And let me preface it with, I have 3 ministers on my email newsletter list. And so I'm going through the news feed, and I find something about, the 6 o'clock news has always got like murder, death, mayhem, rape, fire, pillage, all that crap. And somewhere along the lines, they called it like news porn or something like that. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, this can make a great email. So what do I come up with? My subject line is, my mother loves porn. And I just drop it right there. And then it's like 4 or 5 sentences before I get to explaining that I'm talking about news porn, not, Debbie and Dallas and all that stuff. But you can't be vanilla. You can't be beige, in this world. You got to stand out. And trying to, people always say, oh my God, what do I write about? Go into your news feed and try and find something that you can. Porn has nothing to do with what I do. It's completely opposite of what I do. But, and was I nervous about hitting send on that one? Just a little bit. I had no unsubscribes. 0. Not even the ministers unsubscribed. They all thought it was freaking hilarious. So sometimes you got to take a chance.
Yeah, I love that. I've sent a few risky emails over time too. I can't pinpoint one specifically, but I wrote a book recently called Poop Soup. And so a lot of the marketing emails that went out for Poop Soup were like really toilet humory and fun.
Sure.
But the whole thing is it's a mindset book, right? So it's like, hey, how do you get out of your own way? You're just sitting in poop soup. So it was fun and catchy, and it goes back to when you know your audience, their likes, their dislikes, the things that they're really, interested in. You can be a little bit different. You can be a little weird. You can have a little fun, and it's going to create such a better relationship with your clients and everything that you do. And Vance, man, we could probably sit and nerd out on this topic for like many, many hours, because I know you've got decades of wisdom to share. But I want to respect your time.
I appreciate it.
How do we find you, follow you, check out more of your content? Because I know this is
sure thing. So I've got the only social media I really do is LinkedIn, so you can certainly find me there. I think I'm the only Vance Morris Disney guy. And then if you don't mind, I actually have a download, a free giveaway for your audience. It's 52 ways to wow your customer. And you can find that at wow52ways.com. And it's one wow for every week of the year. So if you're not feeling creative, and calling your customer, I think, is number 7, 16, and 23, some version of calling your customer. So call the damn lead. I'm right there with you.
Amen. Hey, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely going to make sure we put that in the show notes. And then right after this, I'm going to have to go download it because, I'm always trying to learn from the best too, Vance. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to be here with us.
I appreciate it, Juby. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Listen, if you guys enjoyed the show, go share it on social media, put it on LinkedIn, tag me, tag Vance, let the world know you listened to this, you got some value out of it. Maybe you know somebody who really sucks at answering the phone and they need a little help. Send them this episode. You don't have to tell them they suck. Just be like, I heard this. I was thinking of you. I wanted to share it because that's what this show is all about, helping everybody get better and build a better sales process. Beyond that, maybe you have an awesome sales story. Maybe you've seen some crazy things in your time. I want you to be on the show. Head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your details. Get yourself signed up. We can't wait to talk to you. While you're there, grab a hat, sweatshirt, keychain, something. Support the movement. We'll see you guys next time. Go call the damn leads.
When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind that speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.